Wage peace with your breath, wage healing with your touch, wage compassion with your eyes, wage peace. Wage acceptance with your mind, wage forgiveness with your heart, wage justice with your life, wage peace. Wage peace with your breath, wage healing with your touch, wage compassion with your eyes, wage peace. Wage acceptance with your mind, wage forgiveness with your heart, wage justice with your life, wage peace. Wage peace with your breath, wage healing with your touch, wage compassion with your eyes, wage healing with your touch, wage acceptance, wage forgiveness with your heart, wage justice with your life, wage forgiveness with your heart, wage justice with your life, wage healing with your touch, wage compassion with your eyes, wage healing with your touch, wage acceptance with your eyes, wage forgiveness with your heart, wage justice with your life, wage forgiveness with your heart, wage justice with your life, wage peace with your touch, wage passion with your touch, wage compassion with your touch, wage acceptance with your mind, wage acceptance with your mind, wage justice with your life, 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 wage peace, wage peace.
Thank you for joining us again today as we reflect on peace and nonviolence in connection with the International Day of Peace. The charism of the Sisters of St. Joseph reminds us of our deep interconnectedness with all, most especially our dear neighbors suffering. We are challenged to listen empathetically to those in pain with respect and dignity. And this can and will transform our lives, our community, our nation, and our world. The 2019 chapter impelled us to hear the cry of our dear neighbor, to go deeper, to journey farther, to respond boldly and creatively. We're excited today to reflect on peace and nonviolence with Ashley and Karina from the Justice Office. Welcome, Ashley and Karina.
Karina, it's really good to have you here to talk about peace and nonviolence during this International Week of Peace event. The CSJ community has, for the 2019 chapter directions, recommitted to our mission to work for peace and nonviolence. And so we're here to talk about that a little bit today. Do you want to say a little bit about yourself before we get started?
Sure, yeah. So my name is Karina, and I am one of the 6 St. Joseph workers for the 2021 year. And I'm working with the Justice Office as well as with Celestream.
What does nonviolence mean to you?
Nonviolence is not causing people harm, and when you do, making reconciliations and ways we can collectively move towards justice. And I also like thinking about it on the individual level, because I think both are so necessary for either to function properly. or carry out their mission properly. Do you have a favorite peace quote or someone who inspires you?
I always think of Audre Lorde. She has a book that's called "The Master's Tools Will Never Dismantle the Master's House." If the Master's house has been built on violent oppression and subjugation and harm and death, then we subvert that with nonviolent action that's disruptive, certainly. But we don't have to resort to the way that they created their order of power. If we want to create a different society, we have to go about it in a different way.
Yeah, I think that ties in actually really nicely with my favorite quote. It's "Let us not become the evil that we deplore," which is something that Barbara Lee said. And to me, yeah, it really goes along with like, how do we want to respond and disrupt the systems of oppression that are in place right now? I think it's a lot easier said than done to respond to hate with love and with kindness and with compassion. I think that we all identify very strongly with our beliefs so that they become part of who we are and a part of our identity. And so when we encounter people who have a dissenting opinion or like an opinion that, or a belief, I should say, that does not like fit in with our own, we see that as an attack on our personal existence. And if we want anything to change, it's not going to be with violence or with hatred or dehumanizing another person for what they believe. We just have to really see the inherent dignity and humanity in every single person, and yeah, really keep that at the forefront of our minds as we try to pave a new way.
How do you see peace and nonviolence as part of the CSJ charism?
A major part of this charism is remaining compassionate to people who have been marginalized and also have caused the marginalization as well, which I think is the harder thing to do. In their heart of hearts, everyone is good, and just believing that good exists in everyone and everything. Yeah, and just trying to bring that to light and nurture that while healing the broken parts of ourselves and each other that cause more lacerations in our society.
Yeah, when I think about the charism, it's exactly what you said, remembering the humanity in other people, that everyone has a story. And it's the primitive part of us that reacts, and that is violent. It's the higher self that it takes to build relationships and to connect with people and understand and empathize and loving each other without putting labels and categories on who is deserving of love.
Yeah, I really believe that we are all so intimately connected, and it's like, if a group of us are suffering, then we're all suffering in some way. And yeah, some suffer more, but we're all there.
It's hard to remember sometimes in our worst moments that oppressive systems harm us all. How do you live peace and practice nonviolence as a way of life in your daily actions?
I think at this point in my life, self-reflection is a really, really big piece of that. And just getting curious about why I hold certain beliefs, and just this process of undoing and relearning is, I think, really key to my being able to live the rest of my life in a way that is in accordance with what I truly believe, and allowing compassion to inform the way that I respond. So the way that I look at it is like, anger is really good fuel for like an individual or like-minded effort. But I think that when it comes to building bridges, anger just kind of burns them. And so containing anger as a means to fuel my own passions. But when I'm actually out there doing the thing, I hope to be more compassionate.
I have to reference Audre Lorde again. She says that self-care is an act of political resistance. Self-care isn't like, I don't know, like taking a bubble bath and like going on a shopping spree. It's about challenging yourself, holding yourself accountable. Like you said, challenging the ways in which you respond to others, always trying to understand your reactions and look deeply into the prejudices you have or the negative thoughts that you have about people. Work to unpack them and listen and learn from others. And when others want to listen and learn from you, to honor that. I mean, I think that there are little things that we can do where we care for ourselves in an emotional capacity. Society is made up of the individual, and if individuals were to just hold themselves accountable with love and grace, I think that would change things for the better.
I think that taking care of ourselves and each other is one of the most radical things we can do, because care is what enables healing and real change, because I think it really does start from within ourselves, and that's what we extend onto the rest of the world. So
yeah,
it's
totally
really important. Yeah.
Many, many thanks to both Ashley and Karina for their thoughtful reflections today. So much to pray about and to be challenged by. The need for self-care, the importance of not becoming the sin that we deplore. And the reference to 1 Corinthians seems particularly timely for our community. When one suffers, when one member suffers, we all suffer with them. And when one member rejoices, all rejoice with them. So we end our week of peacemaking with a song of mission that echoes that passage from Corinthians. You are invited to pray and sing along as you are able. We wish you peace.
When one among us has fallen deep into their pain, are not all bound together in their suffering. When one is honored, when the smallest are raised high, are not all bound together in their joy. When one is broken-hearted, weighed down by sin or shame, are not all bound as family to bear responsibility